don't remember asking you a goddamn thing.
Hello, Internet. Welcome back to the podcast that no one asked for. My name is Guy.
And my name is Babs.
And no one asked for this. Today, we will be discussing the last 4 episodes of the HBO series Watchmen, including we don't know if it's season or series finale.
I hope there's more, but I'll be happy if that's all there is. Because sometimes too much of a good thing is not a good thing.
Babs, what is your gut reaction to the season as a whole?
I thought that it tied up very nicely. I will be watching it all over again. Thought that the ends that were loose and questionable were tied up well.
As always with these Lindelof shows, I have a bunch of questions, and I'm almost certainly I watched every episode twice as of now, and I might have to go for a third time straight through, just watching the whole season in a binge, just to see what to get a clearer picture of what was happening. But all in all, I mean, obviously this is everything I ever wanted from a television show about superheroes. Well, superheroes in quotes. Let's move on to something I'm dying to hear, because again, I don't know what you're going to say. And that is, what is your most memorable moment?
So the one that came immediately to my mind that was quite shocking to me was when we learn about we're seeing these things with Ozymandias, and he's on this planet and he seems to be trapped in some sort of prison. Me not having read everything with the comic books and everything to know the background of, but I just thought he was, trapped there. And then you find out that was the planet that Dr. Manhattan created, and he wanted to go there.
Well, it was a moon. It's Europa.
Yeah, that was Europa, where he went to create life and be God or whatever the fuck. And then he decided it wasn't for him and asked Adrian Veidt if he wanted to go there. And he did.
He was a kid who was tired of playing with his toys for 8 years.
Yeah.
My most memorable moment, and it gut punch is underselling it, but the whole Hooded Justice origin, from the moment the police officers pull up in the car and then they're dragging the bodies behind it, and then the whole they sort of hang him and then cut him down at the last moment, to the point where he saves the lady in the alley. I don't think I've seen anything in a television show about superheroes that powerful ever. But also, that is a horrific superhero origin story. As that's as bad as it's going to get. And while it's my most memorable, I will not call it my most rewatchable, because I don't want to watch that too many more times.
I mean, his whole life was filled with trauma.
Sad but true is overused term, but that's what you would think about when you think about Will Reeves and that whole Hooded Justice things. Let's move on to the background bums and bosses. I'm assuming you have a boss, but who's to say? What do you got?
I have a boss, and I had a bum that I wrote down too in case I wanted to go that way. But I, as a background boss, I'm going with Lady True's mother, her clone, mother clone.
Yeah, it was a clone of her mother.
Daughter, mother, clone. Clone, daughter, mother. Because she's kind of raising her, but also feeding her own memories. That's a real love for a mother that I don't think that I have. I don't think I have it.
I would definitely raise my father as my son.
Son father.
But I don't know that I would give him back his memories. I would just let him live, because a part of that is you have to give them all of the
bad stuff too. You got to give them everything.
It comes the good and the bad. And I would want my father to be unburdened, because the only benefit of giving her mother back her memories is for herself.
So that she can be her mother totally. But then
making her relive the trauma of her childhood doesn't help the clone at all. Why can't the clone just be a rich, spoiled daughter that enjoys...
Then it wouldn't be the same person. That's the thing. Is that you have to give people are who they are because of their trauma, is the point.
But I'm okay with just like a Boba Fett version of my father. Like, he has his own experiences, but he is a genetic identical to the person that came before, like Jango. And this is strange, but my background boss is actually Lady True herself. I was already kind of like wanted to see what they would do with that character, and it just her they do a like in the finale they have like the Senator Keene guy do his cackling Bond villain thing,
Yeah.
and you're wearing the goofy ass Dr. Manhattan underwear, and you're just like, what a fucking clown. And then Lady True does her Bond villain moment at the end, and you're like, oh, this is what it should look like. Mm-hmm. He was doing like a 1980s bad guy from Knight Rider, and she's doing what 2019 bad guys look like. And her mistakes are mostly in the concept of time, because it really is hard to, no matter who you are, to understand the way Dr. Manhattan views the world. Even Adrian Veidt couldn't 100% control him or predict him. And neither could she, because how would she know that 10 years in advance he had planned all this and known what was going to happen?
If he can see time,
because before
time,
she was ever bought into the plot, he had already predicted what she would do and how to counteract it. But that's an insane level of planning, because she didn't even realize that she would ever be in. She didn't know that this was a possible part of her future until she was told as part of Dr. Manhattan's plan, which is insane to wrap your brain around, which is why I have to watch the whole series again.
I think that it's more common knowledge with Dr. Manhattan that he doesn't view time he views time like it's coming in loops all the time. So he's seeing things simultaneously. So if you know that about him, then you know that like there's really no secrets there.
Yes, but she, up until that moment, thought she had fooled him, which is...
But you can't.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Unless the only way you could fool him is if he wasn't able to see the time in that moment when he blocked his own ability to see time at all times. How many times can I say time?
Time is on my... Anyway, but so the point is that the performance by... I should have looked up the actress's name because I do not know it. But her performance was amazing, and that's why she's my background boss.
But I wouldn't call her a background character. That's kind of why I wouldn't give it to her. But okay, I mean, I guess. Well, she's not like one of the main. I mean, I don't know.
You're right, and I thought about that as I was coming out with my answers, and every other person that I came up with had equal amount of screen time as she did. So I'm like, well,
okay.
Unless I just picked one of the people that didn't do anything and had no effect on anything, because wasn't a lot of characters in more than one episode for the last 4, which is kind of strange, but that's the way it worked out. Let's move on to special shout outs. I'm going to give my special shout out to the newspaper stand owner.
Oh, good one.
He is the only person that really got to talk to the main characters that didn't know them. He just kind of randomly interacted with all of them, including Adrian Veidt himself at the last episode. And he held his ground. And he did a good job. The actor did a good job. This character is just random newspaper stand owner. And he's kind of probably has like 5 scenes the whole series. And he's my special shout out. What about you?
My special shout out is to eggs, because there's so much egg making in this show. I even forgot about the one you said. When it starts, it's Angela talking to her son's class. She has an egg, and then there's an episode when she kidnaps her grandfather. He's making eggs. Then Dr. Manhattan is making eggs, which are all kind of cluing you to the like final egg scene, if you will, where she eats the egg. So much eggs. There's probably other egg scenes that I'm not thinking of too.
It's in hindsight really obvious what they were getting at, because again, the first time Angela appears, she has eggs, and the last time she has eggs. Mm-hmm. So it all ties together, but there were so many other things happening in the other moments of the eggs that it was sleight of hand, and you're really not focused on the eggs. You're focused on the characters and the moments.
It's all about the eggs.
Eggs, I love them. Let's move on to the moment we've all been waiting for, and I have a feeling that we might have the same answer, but I don't care, because if that's the case, then so be it. But Babs, who is your most valuable performer for the last 4 episodes?
I would say the actor that plays Dr. Manhattan / Cal Abar.
Yahya Abdul-Mateen II.
That's his name?
And of course, we had the same person. I knew we would.
His acting was excellent as Dr. Manhattan because when
Also, as his own dead body.
as his own dead body. Wait, the first few episodes before the reveal that's who. I don't know if anybody. I'm not a genius, so I don't know if someone else was thinking maybe that's Dr. Manhattan. I knew there was something up with him and his lack of memory, but I couldn't quite figure it out. And then that reveal was like, oh, and then he becomes when she takes the memory thing out of his forehead and he goes back to Dr. Manhattan full power, then you like see that he is kind of a really different person to interact with than as just the loving and best husband of all time, Cal Abar.
Yeah.
So it was
I picked him because he played 3 versions of Dr. Manhattan and he played Cal within the 4 episodes that we're talking about today. So in episode 6, he's like the worried husband as she had taken the memory pills, the nostalgia. And then in episode 7, he's coming and like camping out at Lady True's compound to like kind of see what's up. Then, so that's all husband Cal. And then in episode 8, he is playing the original Dr. Manhattan, like the John Osterman or whatever his name is, Dr. Manhattan. Then he transforms into Cal Hatton, but with all his powers. He's playing the Cal Manhattan. Then he's playing when he puts on the Cal suit, he's playing that version of where he looks like a normal person, but is still like Dr. Manhattan burdened by all the things he knows. Then he's playing the blue version again, but he's disoriented after she wakes him up in the end of that episode. And then the last episode where he's in the cage, he's playing a different version where he is being affected by the whatever that prison he's sitting in. So it's like, every version of Dr. Manhattan, because again, I've watched all these episodes twice, it's like you can tell the difference. And that is a ridiculously hard thing to play as an actor playing a character who literally doesn't emote with his face. Like the whole thing is he's kind of stoic with his face, but you have to kind of understand all the different things that are happening to him. And the fact that he pulled that off, there was no other choice for most valuable performer.
I mean, it's amazing. And I want to know if that was his real dick, because it seemed pretty big. Just saying. Is that the real dick, or did they do a stunt dick?
I'm not going to Google that. These are the problems.
Did you?
No, I didn't. This is adulthood, people.
I mean...
figuring out whether or not to Google someone's dick. Anyway, so the least spoilerly thing that we'll talk about all day is our rating. Will you rate this as rewatchable or watchable or forgettable or waste of time?
It's definitely rewatchable. It's like almost prerequisite that you're not going to get it all.
Unless you absolutely hated this, I can't imagine trying to watch it once and get everything.
Must rewatch.
And Lindelof had said that was one of his goals, was to kind of make it so that you could do 4 viewings and still be catching new things, because that's the way he felt about the original book. So that is going to conclude. Please, if you watch no other television show, watch The Watchmen.
Watch it. Someone must watch The Watchmen.
And if you were thinking that this was a waste of your time, remember, no one asked for this.